Welcome to VIVIANEART. I'm Viviane Mehr. This is my gallery in Inglewood, Calgary. This is our first exhibition with Toronto-based painter Jason Deary. This show, entitled Three-Legged Dog, is really quite spectacular. There are 4 images that repeat throughout these pieces that are all really key to Jason. There is a large truck. There is a house, actually Enoch House, that burnt down in 2019. There is a statue being pulled from the Detroit River, and there's a 3-legged dog, the namesake of this exhibition, and quite personal for Jason. I'm going to let him tell you some of the stories in his own words.
The 3-legged dog was taken, from a story or an analogy that came about from my stepdad as we were driving cross country. I was driving to Toronto to start grad school, and he flew out to do this road trip with me. And about halfway through it, we saw this 3-legged dog, and he talked about how the dog was strong and resilient, and how it kind of overcame this loss. And as viewers or people, we see this dog and we feel bad for it, and we think, oh my God, this poor dog, it's lost this thing. And he said that, we don't need to worry about it because the dog doesn't know anything's wrong with it. The dog kind of quickly adapts, and it doesn't know the difference anymore. And it was a lovely sentiment, and that was a really nice way of looking at things and putting a positive spin on it. But shortly after, my parents revealed to me that he had diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And I think he had a really hard time coming out and telling me about that. And I think that was very much his sort of introduction to be you don't have to worry because I'm, soon enough not going to know the difference. And thinking about my family's relationship to dogs in that particular story, I've had this idea of working with a 3-legged dog for a really long time. So I brought it into this exhibition kind of front and center. It felt like the perfect title for the show. It's kind of odd and peculiar and slightly funny, but also a very direct and personal nod to that. And the dog itself very much relates to, loss and recovery and presence and absence and resilience and perseverance. And all those themes kind of run through the show.
These are meaningful to Jason, but to anyone who walks into the gallery and looks at these pieces, these images will have their own meaning for the viewer. And really, they're quite universal in terms of images. So you don't really need to hear Jason's story for them to be impactful, but it does add something to the work. So we see these images coming in these pieces, in these broken up images, and we see some repetitive motifs that look like windows, fences, gates, and these are the classic ways that Jason brings structure to his work, but also meaning.
I think of them, they're places of passage and transition. They're places of reflection. And then alongside the passage, there's also protection, right? The window's a gate, a fence, it guards, it holds something in. It lets some things through, but keeps other things out. And, if I'm thinking about memory, having something that protects and holds, but also allows some passage back and forth seems appropriate.
3-Legged Dog is up in VIVIANEART until May the 2nd. If you're in Calgary, I hope you have the opportunity to come in and see it. Masks are mandatory. We have a 10-guest limit, but we hope to see you. If you aren't, we have an online store, and we'll have a virtual tour available very soon on our website so that you can see the work in the space. In addition, friend of VIVIANEART, Steve Gatenby, did an interview with Jason in his studio earlier this month, and that will also be made available through our YouTube channel, and we'll do some posting on Instagram. I love the fact that I get to live with this work for the next month. It's got so many layers and so much meaning, and that very much is like Jason Deary himself.